Oh, let me finish. I'm surprised they let me go that long. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into one of the, I guess, quote-unquote standard combos, although this hand isn't particularly standard. What I would consider the standard combo is any combination of Earth, Venus, and Neptune. So let's jump into it. So here we have Venus and Foolish Burial to kind of get that combo in a little bit of a roundabout way. So once we get the two Shine Balls, we're going to link off into Moon. Moon sends Majesty Hyperion to the graveyard here, and then we're going to Foolish Burial Ava to kind of search out our missing pieces in Earth and Neptune here. Neptune's going to bring out Earth. Usually use the Neptune to bring out Venus, so this is a little bit awkward, but you're always going to be banished. You want to, banish your Neptune to summon your Majesty Hyperion so you can get to Sanctuary in the Sky. Very important for this combo here. Next up, we're going to link into the Parshath link here. Celestial Night Lord Parshath. Then we're going to sync into Master Flare Hyperion. I do want to point something out here, actually. So this play I did is technically not completely optimal. The more optimal play here would be to sync off Earth and the Shine Ball for Cupid Pitch, then go into Master Flare, and then go into Parshath with a Shine Ball you summon off of Hyperion. So that'll get you an extra card in hand, so technically you won't actually require discard for this combo, as well as deal a little bit of extra damage. I just wanted to show, I guess, that you can, use it with or without Cupid Pitch, but I do think playing Cupid Pitch probably worth it just for that interaction. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. So we're going to copy Agent of Destruction Venus. Get our Shine Balls back. We actually don't even need to use that many Shine Balls here, which is the good part. Like, we could potentially extend even further if we had to. But yeah, so this is a very important piece of the combo. We went into Condemned Dark Lord to search out Superbia, and then we're going to use Parshath's effect to search out Athena, discarding Superbia. It is obviously ideal to search out the Superbia, discard it for Athena. You can FTK with some lines where you don't do that, but it requires 2 discards to do that, so just keep that in mind. The standard line, though, get Superbia in hand first. So then we're going to link into Union Carrier here. So we're almost completed our goal right here. Next we're going to Union Carrier, equipping Dawn Knight so we can Foolish Burial Light Monster. Linking it off just to get Dawn Knight into the grave, and then we'll finally have our setup complete. Athena's going to start burning, and then we're going to have Dawn Knight send the Athena to grave. And this is the Athena loop. We can just summon back Superbia. Superbia summons back Athena. Athena is not a hard once per turn. Neither is Dark Lord Superbia. So we can just keep looping this for as many Fairy Link 2s we have. So this is pretty much GG from this point. So as this goes off, another thing I want to point out is that you actually do need to play a fair amount of Fairy Link 2s to support this, and I will fast forward a bit here just to finish up the loop. And I think I'd actually play this part a little bit subpar as well too. From a certain point forward, it's better to keep 2 Athenas on the board, and then you can use Athena to send Superbia and bring back Superbia, so you'll be doing 1200 per fairy summon. So you might be able to cut down a little bit on Fairy Links just from optimizing that. Definitely, I don't think my list is completely optimal yet. It's still a work in progress, but yeah, feel free if you have any suggestions, but definitely put it down in the comments for sure. So yeah, that's the combo. So here's the deck list. I'm going to quickly go over the cards, maybe talk about some other options, and let's jump right into it. So we got the bane of every agent player's existence is Mystical Shine Ball. Obviously we need it for the FTK. I know some builds regular agent decks opt not to play Shine Ball, but do need to play 3, unfortunately. We're on 2 DD Sprite. I don't really like playing 2 DD Sprite, but it is required for some lines to play DD Sprite plus a level 1 Fairy Tuner. Next up, we got Ava. Ava's a ridiculous card in this deck. I am only playing it at 1 because it doesn't really do anything on its own, so I do find sometimes it's not great to just have in hand. It does combo pretty well with some things, so you could play it at 2 if you wanted to. We're on 3, Agent of Life, Neptune. Similar situation to Ava where it doesn't really do anything by itself, which I don't really like that much. Hard drawing it is pretty good, so like as long as you just draw any other starter, then you can just pretty much guarantee FTK or whatever you want. So I am playing it at 3, you could argue too. Next up we got 3 Orange Light. I think this is a kind of a must play 3 of. It's just really good and like our only hand trap, both at defensive and to allow the FTK to go through. We're on 3 Earth. I might take it down to 2, and also I just kind of like having as much starters as I can. But again, it's not really a starter. It's only a starter if you have other stuff too. Or at least not a 1-card starter. Next up, we got 3 Diviner of Herald. This is an amazing 1-card starter in this deck. I would say, depending on the situation, it can be better than Venus, but overall I'd say Venus is probably better. So we're also on 3 Venus as well. The only reason I'd say that regular Venus is just overall better is that it usually allows you to go more easily into lines that use the new Dark Venus here, which allows you to summon way more fairies. It can depend on what the situation is, because Divine of Herald, for example, you can like combo with Trios here and be able to play through a bit more hand traps and whatnot, so it can depend. We do have to play the 1 Dawn Knight for the FTK, so that's probably the worst card to draw in the deck. It doesn't do anything, it's just a Garnet, really. Round 1, Trickstar Corbin. Could up this if you want. Really good Fairy Extender, and Light Stage is also really good, which we'll get to in a minute. Round 2, Athena for the FTK. Drawing it's not terrible, because like drawing it, for example, like Venus plus Athena is still the FTK. You draw those 2 cards, so it can enable the FTK a little bit easier if you hard draw it. So we got Archlord Christia. This is the backup plan. If you've seen regular agent builds, you know that this kind of is their main plan. But for us here, this is going to be our backup plan if we get hand trapped too many times, or for whatever reason we have to like Small World banish a combo piece for the FTK, which shouldn't happen, but it could depending on the hand, I guess. Next, we're on 1 Dark Lord's Perbia, also needs for FTK. Not as good to draw as Athena. It does save you 1 Link Summon. You don't have to go into Condemned Dark Lord, obviously, but not the best to draw. We're on 1 Guardian Eatos. Why is this card an ultra rare? I have no idea. Like, seriously, Konami, what the hell? This is definitely the best Small World bridge in the deck, and drawing it's pretty good too. For example, if you have Earth plus this, you can easily go into Master Flare. For that reason, it's really good, but also it's wind, so if you are playing against Flu, for example, you can still special summon this card and walk over the barrier statue. That's why I'd say it's definitely the best target, but it being an ultra rare is very annoying because it's not that good otherwise, outside this very specific scenario. Round 1 Master Hyperion. This card is amazing going second, can help, pop back row before committing to your hard plays and whatnot. It can also be an extender depending on the hand. It's also can be decent going first, but I'd say it's more common you're going to go into this going second. Next up, we got Majesty Hyperion, obviously needed for the FTK, but just a really amazing card in Asian strategy in general. Being able to easily access a body and Sanctuary in the Sky is just really good. We're on double Trios, could argue 1. Could argue 3, honestly. It really depends on the hand. Sometimes it's going to be dead, obviously, but on hands where, like, for example, you need to resolve Earth or Herald, it can be really good. Especially if they try to stop with something like Imperm, then you can just summon Trios and resolve your effect anyway. It doesn't work with Ash, but it's still just very good, and you can... the other effects haven't come up really that much for me in this deck, but being able to non-target destroy a card is really good as well if you have to. We're on the 1 Foolish Burial. Pretty good in this deck, but what I don't like about it is that it doesn't really do anything on its own. You need to pair it with something, so just keep that in mind. But other than that, it is kind of flexible. You could send Majesty Hyperion if you had to. You could send Venus, Reborn with Neptune. You could send Ava, obviously, which you saw me do in the replay. The flexibility is good, at least. Around 3 small world, pretty cuttable, I'd say, if you want to, and cut this in the Atos. I do kind of like it, as it can be either a starter if you have to, or it can help you play through things, be an extender if you have to do that. So I do kind of like it for that, but you definitely, if you want to cut it and play up this package and go closer to 40, you could do that as well. We're on 3 Sacred Waters in the Sky, very good. I wish it could search Venus, but it doesn't. You have to search either Earth or Neptune, or you could search Hyperion, which is really good. Master, the original Hyperion. But you could also search Majesty Hyperion if you really had to as well. So that flexibility is really good. But again, I just wish it could search Venus. It can't even search the new Venus either. So the new Venus doesn't mention Sanctuary in the Sky either. But yeah. Next up, we got 1 copy of the original Sanctuary in the Sky. You need to play it obviously to facilitate the Parshath effect and other effects that only work under Sanctuary. We're on 2 Trickstar Light Stage, very good, going second against back row decks, and obviously searches Orbane to be a combo piece if you have to do that, and 2 Called by the Grave because we want to resolve our combos, but also like every deck plays this. Next up, the extra deck, we got 1 Cupid Pitch. You could cut this, but I do think that being able to get some extra card advantage is good and damage. I think it makes Venus plus Corbane and FTK, or otherwise it wouldn't be. I think you should be playing this. Baron de Fleur, just really good. We have easy Synchro 10 access. Amazing going second. Sometimes you can breed out going first as a backup. Master Flare Hyperion just does everything for the deck. Either facilitates the FTK, if you have to leave it on the field, it does interruption. It's decent interruption as well, so it just does everything. 1 Link Spider for awkward hands, you could cut this. 1 Almirage, also kind of mostly just for awkward hands, you could technically cut this, but I would say I like Almirage better than Link Spider. 1 Nightmare Cerberus, this is a flex slot, you can play whatever you want. I was playing Barricade Board Blocker for situations where you have like Earth and Ava, but then I just decided, that was when I was playing more Ava, so I decided against it. 1 Condemned Dark Lord, needed to search out Superbia, part of the FTK. Union Carrier, this card should be bans, obviously facilitates the combo. I think you might be able to do this combo without Union Carrier, but I haven't really labbed it as much. Maybe when they finally ban Union Carrier, we'll look into that. Artifact Dagda, we're not using any artifacts. We're just using it as, because it's the only Link 2 fairy that has generic materials. There could be others, but I think this one's probably the best. If you want to, you could play artifact stuff too, but we're just using it because the flexible materials here. Run 3 Moon. Moon is just amazing in this deck. We need to play extra copies to facilitate the FTK. Overall, really good. Facilitates pretty much any play you're going to be doing. And also, going second, you can tribute a fairy to pop a card, which is pretty good. Parshath needed as part of the combo, but just does pretty much everything you would want, either for the FTK or for Christia. Just really good. I'm on 1 Saryuya. This is also a flex slot. You could, if you have just Venus, there are some scenarios where you could just like try to push for the FTK by going into Saryuya. I don't know how much I like that. I'm on Monopalooza. Don't need to play this. It's a decent backup plan, I think, and it's a fairy, so might as well play it for that. You can use it as part of the FTK. And yeah, that's really it for the deck list. Some other options I wanted to talk about. If you wanted to play a more budget-friendly version, less ultra rares, you could cut the Diviner engine. You don't have to play it. In that case, I would definitely want to keep the Small World package, because obviously you're going to have less starters to work with. If you do that, another option you can play instead of Eatos is Medulce Petting Cessor, I think is what I was playing for a little bit. Is a decent Small World bridge, but it's not going to be as good. I'm not sure if there's a under super rare. You could just opt to play more Korobane instead, and maybe just play something else as a Small World bridge. You could also Small World bridge, use the Dark Venus as a bridge, but then you can't, if you're going to use this as a bridge, you can't use, you can't search out regular Venus, which is, you know, probably what you want to be doing, so yeah, keep that in mind. Other ultras you could cut Hyperion, although I wouldn't recommend it. Obviously, you can definitely cut Light Stage, maybe you could just play more Korobanes, or just your favorite fairy extender. Technically, Call by the Grave is cuttable, but I don't know why you wouldn't have this card, because every deck should be playing this, probably. In the extra deck, you could cut Baron, it's just nice. You could cut Almirage. No, you need Union Carrier and Parshath, unfortunately, and you could cut Saryuya and Appaloosa. So you can definitely play this deck with limited ultras. But I understand like some things like Superbia might be hard to justify because you're really only going to play this deck, or Christia. You just wanted to try this out. So yeah, this is the Agent FTK or Athena FTK, whatever you prefer to call it. Of course, make sure to subscribe, give a like if you can, and see you in the next video.